Welcome to Topsail Insider, where you can hear all about the businesses and events in the beautiful coastal towns in the Greater Topsail area of North Carolina. Coming up, are you looking to build a brand new website from scratch for your business? Do you want to give maybe your current website a fresh makeover or undergo a complete redesign? Do you think that a professional, well-designed website is out of your budget? Well, think again. We have Evelyn Wheeler from Web Designs Your Way joining us today, and she's going to share how you can get an affordable, handcrafted WordPress website and take advantage of their flexible payment plans. Stay tuned for insights on web design and more on today's episode of Topsail Insider. Experience a new level of luxury on Topsail Island at Saltwater Suites in Surf City, North Carolina. With no nightly minimum, you can enjoy short getaways or an extended stay. Each suite features luxury bedding, full kitchens with dining tables and dishwashers. And all suites other than the 3 ADA suites have full-size washers and dryers. And don't forget about those beautiful ocean views. 24/7 self-check-in provides a hassle-free and seamless experience. Saltwater Suites is the perfect choice for your next beach getaway. Book your next Topsail visit at saltwatertopsail.com or call 910-886-4818. Saltwater Suites, Topsail Island's premier luxury hospitality experience. Come on out to Surf City Line for the best made-from-scratch beach and bowls on Topsail Island. Treat yourself to their delicious bowls with shrimp, steak, fish, chicken, or pork. Or enjoy their peel-and-eat shrimp, beach break salads, and more. They offer a full bar serving handcrafted cocktails, incredible margaritas, and they proudly serve North Carolina craft beer. The Line boasts the biggest deck on the island with 3 levels for listening to live music, relaxing in the sun, or head on up to the top deck to enjoy your meal with ocean views. Visit surfcitylinenc.com for their full menus. The best service and beach vibes on the island await you at 2112 North New River Drive. Whether you're a local or visiting from out of town, celebrating a special occasion, or just soaking up the sun with family and friends, it's always a great time at Surf City Line. Welcome to Topsail Insider. My name is Krista, and I am your host. Today, we are talking to Evelyn Wheeler, owner of Web Designs Your Way out of Holly Ridge, North Carolina, and beyond. Welcome, Evelyn, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I think this is going to be great.
I say beyond because what you do, you can do anywhere, right?
Correct.
Around the world.
We have customers in the Bahamas, yes.
That's great. I want to be one of your customers in the Bahamas. We're going to talk about what you do and why you do it. So, Evelyn, please tell us what Web Designs Your Way does and the main services that you offer, just a broad overview.
So we do web design, website maintenance, redesigns, what we refer to as makeovers, security maintenance, social media for our clients. We don't take outside clients.
Share with us how you got into web design in the first place and what made you want to turn that into a business.
Very funny story here. My dad had called and asked my husband to make some updates to his website because my husband's very technical. And we had just moved to Colorado when that happened. And the job that took us there did not work out. So got off the phone call. We looked at each other and we're like, why not? What do we have to lose? Mm-hmm. So we literally started the business from a phone call from my dad. And I got some really cheap shirts made up and started just knocking on doors.
This was on a whim.
It was not anything planned out. We went to Facebook and said, we're starting a web design business. What are the top names you would use? We narrowed it down. That's how we even came up with our name for our company.
Web Designs Your Way. So
it was voted on for all of our friends on Facebook. We didn't pick it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you said your husband was very technical.
Yes.
What about you? Where did you fall into this?
I fell into it having to ask him every question.
Okay.
I am a people person and a salesperson. That aspect of it, I just was handed down from my dad because he had his own businesses and everything all my life that I can remember. So it was just very much run with it.
how did you decide on WordPress, or was that what your husband was already familiar with?
So we did not start WordPress till about 9 years ago. June will be 14 years for us that we've been in business. We started with HTML only because of the security concerns that he had with WordPress. Then we started turning over or passing up so many jobs because, I want a WordPress, that it finally urged him to look back into it. And he found a lot of ways to lock down the site and secure it.
Tell me why people outside of the design world were specifically requesting WordPress.
It's an easy platform to go in and manipulate themselves if they want to.
So once you build it, they wanted to have access to make the updates themselves.
Correct. And WordPress is such a big platform that it gives you much more functionality, in our opinion, than some of these just drag and drop options that the DIY places do.
Yeah. You mentioned Colorado, but I saw Arizona on your website. So have you moved around a lot?
Unfortunately, yes.
Where are you from? Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Kansas.
Okay.
Moved to California when I was 6.
What part of California?
Ventura County, Thousand Oaks.
That's where I'm from.
Really?
I grew up here in North Carolina. I moved out to LA, but I met my husband in Thousand Oaks in Ventura County. Yeah.
That is so funny.
So after Thousand Oaks.
So from Thousand Oaks, it was just getting so expensive. We had our daughter when she turned 4. I didn't want her going through some of the things I went through as an athlete in high school. Wasn't the girly girl. I wasn't the Barbie. So it was like, okay, where can we go? And my dad was like, well, Arizona's nice. He originally wanted to go back to Kansas, but that's too far because Chad had his whole family in California as well. And we're like, well, Arizona is close enough.
Yeah.
So we went and we were able to buy a house and advance our life because the cost of living was so much better in Arizona at the time. So we packed up and went to Arizona, and we were there for a long time until the recession hit. Then that's when we moved to Colorado because same thing, cost of living was starting to go up. My husband at the time, we didn't have our business, was working a job that they just kept cutting his pay.
Okay.
And our whole purpose for moving to Arizona was so that I could raise our daughter and not have to work. And so that started getting harder and harder.
Gotcha.
So he just started joking around, and I put out there looking for places to live or something on Facebook. And one of our friends was like, just come visit. You'll love Colorado. And then once she said it, I had about 15 friends from high school that were out there. So we're like, sounds like this is where we're going. And so my husband just jokingly started putting out resumes and got an interview, and we flew out. They hired him on the spot. We found a rental. Again, it was one of those, well, I guess this is where we're supposed to be.
It's meant to happen. Yeah.
So ended up 2.5, 3 months into it, the job didn't work out. And then that's how our business started. We just started building our business. The first year that we were there, we won the best of for our little town.
That's great.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I was surprised, but it was customer service is everything to us. So it was one of those things that I think that's what got us that award.
Very good.
So then my parents' health just started declining. So in 2013, we moved back to Arizona to help them out. And then 2019, lost my dad, 21, lost my mom. And then we're like, why are we in Arizona?
Yeah, you mentioned that. I'm sorry to hear that. They were back to back, right? And
yeah.
That's a lot.
My dad was ready, but my mom, I wasn't anticipating it. And it just, she gave up. But she had been with my dad forever. You hear that too often. You lose your soulmate and then you're like lost. Yeah. So we just looked at each other and then we're like, well, most of my relatives are still in Kansas. So we moved to Kansas. That didn't last but 8 months.
Is that where you moved next, was Greater Topsail area?
Yes. The same friend that took us to Colorado that reached out is the one that we came to visit and stayed at their parents' beach house right on the beach. I am a beach person. I love dolphins. We went out for a walk one day and there's dolphins, and my husband just looked at me and he goes, this is where we're moving, isn't it? And I said,
yep.
Most likely. And again, we were in touch with a realtor. We looked at houses. We made an offer on a house, and here we are.
What year was that?
Last year. We've been here March.
That's right. You were just getting here when I started this podcast about a year ago.
Yeah, it was the end of March is when we moved here last year.
Are you happy here?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, the price of the house in 10 minutes from the beach, can't beat it.
So I did notice that Arizona number on your website, but you're catering to people around the globe if you wanted to.
Yeah, we kept the Arizona number. We got rid of our Kansas number, but the Arizona number, that's where we built the majority of our business. We've been in business almost 14 years now. So we didn't want to get rid of that for all those customers that had that. Yeah. And we can work from anywhere. Like I said, we have, I think, 3 customers in the Bahamas. We've got customers in just about every state.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's all about building the relationships that I've done that just get referrals.
And
it's
Evelyn,
great.
You are really good at relationship building. And I know that because I see you a lot at the Chamber of Commerce events and meetings, and you've solidified your presence here really fast. If you talk about a course of a year for a business, you're here and you're very present and you're at all the events. And it's really nice to see. What has been the most challenging part of being here in this area?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your kind words because I don't always feel that way. But the hardest thing, I think, is making friends.
Agreed.
Just because it's a lot of people that have come here from different places. I think everybody's attitudes a little bit changed during the COVID lockdown periods to where we didn't have to socialize. And for me, not socializing was horrible.
Yeah.
But now everybody seems a little more not as giving with their time and or sharing information. And I am like, I'll tell you my life story if you ask, pretty much. It's just one of those things that, and that's one of the biggest reasons I joined the chamber and became an ambassador, was because like-minded small businesses all in there helping one another.
Yeah. And you have a lot in common.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the services that you offer your clients, let's just dive into the web design as a whole. You design brand new websites for businesses that have decided to have a stronger presence online beyond just a business page on the social media platforms.
Right.
Which is where I started, and then eventually decided, I think there's a benefit to having your own web page. Can you talk to me about why having a professionally built website is crucial for businesses in today's world?
Social media is a great avenue for a lot of people to use, but especially here in this area, I may know what pages to go on to look or ask questions, but we're a big tourist city come summertime, and those people don't know those pages. They're still going to rely on the web, and not only tourists, but how many people we have moving here. So having a website that can be found by Google, following Google's guidelines that change constantly, and having that online presence, not only with your website and your social media, but there's business directories, things like that help you be found. And that's all stuff that we guide you with. How you build the website depends on the platform that you're using and what functionality that you have. So if you're labeling your pictures that you're putting on your website JPEG 123, that's not good.
Guilty.
You need to, well, the thing is your website needs to be found and read by Google's bots. Okay. Google's bots don't care what JPEG 123 is.
Right.
They care about what is that picture titled. So you could name a wave, Topsail Wave 2024 or something like that. You want to be descriptive of what your picture is so that the bots can read that.
Interesting. Okay.
And that helps you because when somebody does a Google search, you want to think about what those words are that they're searching for your business and make sure it's in your content.
And that scenario right there about the naming your photos or naming your files is not going to work in social media, right? It has to be on your website, or does it?
Well, the pictures should be named no matter where you put them.
Okay.
But the social media more goes along the lines of the silly hashtags.
Yeah. On your website, you mentioned your website being mobile friendly and responsive. What does it mean for a website to be mobile friendly and responsive, and how does that impact user experience? And also, does it impact Google rankings?
Google put that rule into place several years ago that if your website wasn't mobile friendly, you were going to start moving down in the rankings. So what the responsive means is that it should be programmed on the back end. And most themes nowadays are built this way anyways, but it responds to whatever screen size it's being viewed on. So there's no more pinching and scrunching and trying to read something with the small HTML websites, how they were built. Google has started, from my knowledge, moving those websites that haven't moved into this age down in the rankings.
Okay.
Now, if somebody knows the business name and they're going there, just like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they don't have to do any SEO or anything because we know their name. We know who to go search for. But if you don't have a strong presence and following Google's guidelines, it's not going to help your business grow and be found.
You also emphasized, and this is whether you're building a business's brand new website or you're revamping their website. You mentioned calls to action, or CTAs. Can you explain what a CTA is for people who may not know, and why they're important for website functionality and the user engagement as well?
It's ease of use for the end user. So let's say you've got 5 services to choose from, and you have a button under each one that says learn more. That button is what's called the CTA, call to action.
Call to action.
So
okay.
if they click on that button, it should, if the website's built right, take you to that portion of the website that has the information about that service or product. And that's the ease of use for all of us in the day and age of we don't have time to do anything. And Google looks for those. And by sending them to other places on your website, they're staying on your website longer, which helps you because Google wants long viewings. And if somebody's going from page to page, that makes Google happy.
Okay, gotcha. What if a person comes to you and you're building a brand new website and they're like, I don't know what my call to actions should be. Do you guide them, or how do you consult and guide them about what they need on their website when they don't know?
It's a fun game to do, actually. I enjoy it because we love educating people. On our website, we list multiple themes that are on there, and we have them go look at them and say, tell us ones you like, tell us ones you don't like.
These are the WordPress
available
premium themes.
Okay. Correct. And what premium means is we have purchased them. So it's a theme that can be used hundreds of times. But even though it's a theme that's there, our websites, we always try to make look different than the theme. We semi-custom it to make it their own. But they may say from this website, I like this color of the call to actions, or I like the rounded pictures instead of the square pictures. And
gotcha.
We just guide them through and ask questions that makes them think about it. And we ask them to provide us 3 websites of their competitors.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And 3 websites that they like. It doesn't even need to be in their industry.
Okay.
And then that way, when we do a screen share with them, going over their questionnaire with my designer, and then everything comes together for him. His design wheel starts going and you can see it. And
gotcha.
We just develop it from those conversations I've had, and then when we do the screen share with them.
What about branding, especially if they're coming to you with a brand new business? They may not have a logo,
Correct.
But you're going to help them with branding. So there's got to be a color scheme throughout all of the pages.
Correct.
So what about if they need a logo? Do you also do that?
We can do very basic logos, but we have somebody that we've partnered with for years. We have several different partners that we like to be a one-stop shop for. So if it's something they need, whether it's a logo, content writing, SEO, things like that, we have people that we partner with that we can refer them out to. We vet anybody that we work with before we use them ourselves, before ever referring them out, to make sure that they have the same ethics and standards that we do and do quality work.
Okay. When they pick a theme that appeals to them most, then you're going to take those logo colors or whatever their branding, their fonts maybe, and incorporate that into the theme.
Correct. The questionnaire that we send out before we do the screen share asks them for color schemes. It sends them to a place to look at color schemes together. It sends them to Google Safe Fonts. What that means is if there's like Mac and PCs and everything, some of them do not have all the fonts that are out there. And what happens most of the time, if it's not a Google Safe font and the computer does not have that font on their computer, what will happen is it most likely will resort back to Arial or one of the standard fonts, and then it throws everything out of alignment, and your website could be totally funky looking at it.
Okay. When you said that you work with them for their social media accounts too, how are you working with your clients in social media?
So I have several clients that we do all of their social media for them.
I love it.
I'm also part of Kiwanis, and I do the Kiwanis social media.
Okay.
The only reason I don't do it for somebody that's not our client is I feel social media is a very personalized thing to put out there. And if I don't know the person, I can't do it properly. So that's why working through somebody building a website, I really get to know them.
Yeah.
So that's where I know their personality. I know what I can and can't put on there.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's always very professional, obviously. But some you can be a little more jokingly about with posts, and others it is purely business.
Professional. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've got a church that I do. It's learning the personalities and knowing the person, the business, and how they function to be able to do social media right, in my opinion.
That makes sense. Is that built into the monthly maintenance fees that you have on your website?
It's a separate fee that if they want it or not, we offer security maintenance plus 1 hour, security maintenance plus 2 hours, social media, blogging. We've customized our pricing based on what they want. It's not
a la
like
carte kind of.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's needs are different. So we have suggested pricing on our website, but that doesn't mean that it's always what we end up with.
So just to wrap up the web design part of this, what is important for folks to consider when they are choosing a web designer to build their business website, and what sets you apart? What are you offering to your clients that they can't get elsewhere?
Making sure your personality doesn't clash, I think from the get-go is very important in choosing a designer, because if the designer's not listening to you and what you want, you're not going to get the end product that you were looking for, in my opinion. What kind of questions do they ask you? Do they base their suggestions on what to have on your website based on what you're telling them or what they feel you need? There's a big difference, because some people don't need a shopping cart, but somebody might be pushing for that. With us, it's a very detailed first call. I always try to do a call rather than just going back and forth with emails.
Yeah.
Because you don't learn anything. And there's so many things that can be misunderstood. Not that it can't in a conversation as well, but I try to get as much information from them, make any suggestions, listen to what they have to say, and then go from there with a proposal for them. It's important to us, the customer service, and being responsive to them, outlaying what our process is. It's all about education, making sure the client is involved, and providing the client what they want.
Wonderful. We'll talk about the website redesign service that you offer. You work with businesses that already have a solid website that's up and running. It's been working for them for years, but maybe just needs to be more current or updated with the new technology or the widgets or the modern look and feels, perhaps. What are some of the common signs that you see that indicate that it's time for a business to consider a redesign?
Obviously, the big one was when mobile responsive came out. That was a big one that everybody pretty much had to redo. Nowadays, it's if the vision of the company has changed, or they've decided they don't like their logo or they don't like their colors. Sometimes you can go in and just manipulate what they have, but sometimes it's better to start fresh. What we've just unfortunately had to approach with a couple of our clients was everything is theme-based with WordPress. A couple of those themes were no longer supported by the developer. So that meant no security updates were going to be done to that theme. So we needed to get them out of that theme into a new one. So with that came, okay, we need to pick a theme. If you like what your website already looks like, we can rebuild it looking exactly the same, but just get you into a theme that we know is still supported. And so we gave them a huge discount because we don't plan on that. But the shelf life, the general shelf life to a website is 3 to 5 years. That means styles have changed. You have to be particular with your fonts, and that's why we always send them the Google Safe fonts. But you may even come back and have kind of like a squirrely, almost a script type that we're going to say, you don't want to use that because once you go to mobile, that's hard to read. So that's where our knowledge comes in and providing you that information when we do our screen share.
Right. Okay. You've talked about security a lot, and I know nothing about this. Explain why it's needed and what it is and how fast it changes and what it's guarding us against.
So security for the website, your WordPress website, and many of them out there are just like your phone and your computer. Updates happen because most of the time it's, woohoo, there's a new feature. This is great. Sometimes there's been a breach somewhere in that plugin or widget, anything, even within a theme. So then what happens is the developer has to go and block that door that was opened. Then comes the update. Okay. So it doesn't mean your website has been hacked or breached. It means somebody with that plugin, something's happened to their website.
And now you're vulnerable.
Okay. And what happens too is just if you're on a server with thousands of people, other websites, you leaving yours vulnerable can penetrate other websites that are on there.
Interesting.
It can impact the server that they're on. So anybody that is doing the security maintenance with us, we go in and touch your website once a week, make sure there's no updates. If there's updates, we do them. If there's ever a problem that you come across and we're doing your security maintenance, you just notify us and we get it done. We don't charge you to fix something that occurred because of an update. That's not your problem. We also offer complimentary hosting if you're on our security maintenance. Okay. And then that way we only have clients on our hosting and not, we have a dedicated server type of a deal. So
if you build their website, they're not forced to have you host.
Correct.
They can host it elsewhere, but that is something that you offer.
Correct.
Majority of the cases, do they choose to stay with you for hosting?
The majority of it, it's more of the security maintenance. We just offer the hosting as a added benefit, something else that they don't have to pay for if they're doing the security maintenance.
Okay.
But yes, the security maintenance is very affordable from what I've been told. And it gives you the security and the peace of mind. We have had people that have said, no, we're going to do it on our own. And we do a video for them on how to do it. And they come back
and
have us do it. It's something that is a time consumption. And as a solopreneur, especially trying to remember to run your business, have a life, all of that. And then remember, oh gosh, I need to deal with my website.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for.
Very good. Okay. And what about content? Sometimes it's very hard for people to write their own content. And how do you help the person who's like, I don't write copy for a living. I don't know how to do that. Here's what I do. Can you make it sound great?
Yeah.
Do you do that for them?
So we do have somebody that we've partnered with that does content writing. Yes, absolutely.
And how long does it typically take to complete a redesign of a website?
That's a very loaded question.
I know.
There.
Maybe we should. How long? Let's say that let's start with you're building a website from scratch for a business. What's the typical turnaround? Is that still too tricky of a question?
Well, I can explain it.
Okay.
So we always say in our agreement 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Now that is very, very dependent on the client.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes to us, they have their pictures, they have their logo, they have their colors, they have all their content. We've finished a website in 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Because there's not a lot of back and forth, but they've got to get us the content and they've got to get us the pictures. And I don't want to say weren't prepared. They're prepared in their mind to get it done. But we really have come across a lot of people that don't understand the process of building a website.
Yeah. And they don't know that they have to gather all that.
Exactly.
And then they're trying to run a full-time business.
Exactly.
And give you the content that you need to run your full-time business.
Right.
I can imagine that gets a little hairy sometimes.
Yeah. That's why we have partnered with these other companies so that we can try to just ease that pain for them. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but when you have great content, Google's going to like you.
Okay. The pictures. A lot of people don't have photos that they've taken, and they don't necessarily, it's not a product, it's more of a service. How can you help the people who don't have photos?
We have a couple of websites that we can send people to. One of them we have a premium license with so that they can look through those premium pictures versus just the regular. Those are options that we have to give them. Most of our companies are the small business and budget is everything. So I would love to find a photographer that
does like
affordable
stock photography.
Yeah, or something of that sort. So we're always trying to find other people to partner with that can help make our clients' life easier.
So now let's talk about something that every business owner needs to know, and that is pricing and affordability. I love how clearly that you lay out your pricing and your payment plans just the fact that you offer payment plans is a big deal. And you put that out so clearly on your website. You offer a calculator built into the website right there. So you can envision what you have in your mind for your website and plug it in and come up with a ballpark figure of what it might be. Businesses and their personalized needs for a website, they're never the same. So can you explain the flexible pricing solution that you've developed that keeps costs down for your clients?
Absolutely. So somebody starting out may not be able to afford the whole package of what we would recommend for what Google's guidelines are. So let's say you offer 5 services. Google would like for you to have a page for each one of those services. Each page becomes an additional dollar value. So what we always recommend is we do our discovery call and figure out, okay, what's the best thing? What kind of budget do you have here? The payment plans are actually interest-free as well. So we're not charging interest on that. We're not here to make money off of charging you interest. It's not what we're about. But if somebody is just like, okay, I only have this amount and I know that their 5 services or whatever is not going to correlate with the pricing.
Right.
We always would recommend you make one service page. On that service page, you put in order your most used or needed service. And then as your business grows, you build out the page and take that service and make it its own page.
Gotcha.
So we try to customize it as much as possible. The calculator, it's a great thing because some people can go look at that if they want. But at the same time, I always love doing a phone call with somebody, whether they use us or not, to educate them on this is why you need to do this. You don't need to do this. You need to get your Google business listing. There's all kinds of things that we guide them with. That's why we have a basic pricing up there, but everybody's needs are different. And that's where that discovery call comes in. This is what we would suggest. I have a hard time asking somebody what their budget is because it's one of those things of, oh, well, are they going to mark the price up? I have things in my head that people may be thinking. So I generally just try to ask them what their needs are, what they're trying to accomplish, send them a proposal. If they get back and say, I can't do that, that's when we revisit. We could do this. We could do that. What do you think about this? You know, type of things. We feel like everybody deserves to have a great website. And that's actually where the interest-free payment plans came in during COVID, because we had so many people that had gotten laid off from jobs or whatnot that are like, you know what? I'm going to run with my passion and see if I can make this a business. We still have probably 95% of those people that started their own business
during COVID
that were able to do these interest-free payment plans and their business is still going.
I love that.
So that's how that whole thing got started. And because it is just my husband and I, we're able to do it. We're not ever going to be millionaires with our pricing, but we know we're helping other businesses out there, and that's what's important.
That's great. I love that so much. Can you walk us through your pricing structure, big picture? You can do that here, or people can go to your website. It's laid out perfectly there.
Well, thank you.
But just that basic price.
So the first initial, we have a design fee that's $650. And what that is it's setting up the skeleton and the homepage. So the skeleton meaning basically how many pages we're anticipating doing. And then each additional page is $249. So with that price comes us designing it for you, us putting the content in, us putting the pictures, putting everything together for you in there, making it look good, making it function, putting all the back end information that needs to be in there for Google for your site to be successful. So it's a pretty inclusive price. We will include in that putting in your social media, basic contact form. You don't have to pay more for a contact form with us.
Okay.
You know,
you mean the social media links?
The social media links.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And if you want that plugin that brings in your Google reviews, we can add that in. Like there's a lot of stuff that's inclusive with us. The things that become extra are shopping carts. Sometimes if there's payment processing or bill pays or for like doctor's offices, appointment scheduling, some of that, if it's just an embed code, if it's just a code that's being provided for us to put into the website, we don't charge extra for it. If it's any formatting that we have to do within the website, we base it on the amount of time, and that's what it's charged.
That makes sense.
Then once a website's completed and it's live, if somebody wants to maintain it themselves, they absolutely do. When the website's paid for, they own it. If you're on our interest-free payment plans, you would be required to stay on our hosting because you don't own it until it's paid for.
Gotcha.
But that would be the price of, depending on how many months, 12 months, 24 months that you want to spread out those payment options. That plus the security maintenance would be your monthly payment. It's very affordable. But the big thing that I like about it, there's an end to that. Some of these places that you just pay a monthly fee, there's never an end to it. For the website.
Right, yeah.
With us, once the website's paid for, that price goes away. If you want us to continue doing the security maintenance, absolutely we can. If not, you own the website, you can move it and do your security maintenance yourself.
Okay. Let's talk about the security and maintenance. You've got 3 plans there. You've got the basic, the business, and the e-commerce. Can you tell me about those 3 plans?
Yeah, the basic is for those that have just like 2 to 3 pages. What it basically boils down to is the amount of plugins and what kind of theme is on there is the pricing. Usually once you go over 2 to 3 pages, that's where it takes you into the business. And that's $65 a month. All the options and everything, all of this is on our website. And it's probably easier for somebody to visit that than
to list them all here.
Explain everything here. But the reason the e-commerce goes up over the basic is because there's a lot more security and a lot more monitoring on our end because of the payment. Just because somebody has an e-commerce site doesn't mean that people are going to try to hack it. Regular sites try to get hacked when there's no information that they can really benefit from. So we take security very seriously.
So everyone, you can go to webdesignsyourway.net, and they do have under their pricing page, the drop-down menu that gives you all of their pricing and some wonderful calculators for you to calculate what the price might be for yourself.
Hey, if you thought it couldn't get any better than Saltwater Suites, well, I have some exciting news. I am thrilled to announce the grand opening of the new Saltwater Resort this May in the heart of Surf City, North Carolina. Saltwater Resort will absolutely redefine hospitality, creating a truly elevated vacation experience. All 24 suites offer opulent bedding, full-size washers and dryers, and well-appointed kitchens equipped with dining tables and dishwashers. And now you can relax and enjoy their beautiful saltwater pool. Are you ready to elevate your next Topsail adventure? Reserve your stay at saltwatertopsail.com or call 910-886-4818. Saltwater Resort, where luxury meets the waves and every moment is a celebration. Hey Insiders, if you haven't tried Surf City Line, what are you waiting for? Chef Jay has created amazing made-from-scratch beach-in bowls, delicious peel-and-eat shrimp by the pound, wings, salads, and more. And they have a wonderful multi-level deck for listening to live music, soaking up the sun, and enjoying food, drinks, and some of the best service on Topsail Island. Follow Surf City Line on Facebook and Instagram, where you'll find their lineup for all of their live entertainment. Feel like walking off that delicious food before heading home? Well, take their walkway right to the ocean for a quick stroll on the beach. They have plenty of parking right next to the restaurant and a large lot across the street. They're located at 2112 North New River Drive, where Surf City meets North Topsail. I'll see you at Surf City Line.
One thing that is special about us is we do work on other people's websites that somebody else has built. We get a lot of calls where their web designer's not responding to them or this or that. So if it's a WordPress site, they own the website and have admin login. We always ask for the login to look how many updates are behind, what kind of coding is in here. But we've found a lot of other designers will not take on somebody else's work. And we are one of the few that will after we've looked at it.
Oh, good. Good to know. So, you mentioned this a little bit earlier. Besides the additional pages, what are some of the add-ins that folks might want to choose for their website? You did mention e-commerce.
The shopping carts are usually the biggest thing, and that gets expensive from the fact that there's a lot going into putting in products. The shopping cart setup, we charge $250 for the actual setup, but then it's per product. So
because there's got to be a picture for each product, a description for each product.
And then sometimes there's the variables. So let's say you're going with a shirt. You've got 5 different colors to choose from and the colors. So those are all what we refer to as variables. So that's the process of, okay, how many variables do we have to add in? And we do that all based, again, on our pricing. One of the things that with our pricing, we charge $85 an hour, but we bill in 15-minute increments. So even when the website's done and you have a change that you need done, you just call us or email us, hey, I need this done. We quote you. It's going to take us 15 minutes. This is your price.
That's nice.
It's not an automatic $85.
Another hour. Yeah. That's really nice.
Thank you.
Very generous again. What about photo galleries and how do you handle videos? And are people using videos in their home pages?
Yes. We're actually working on one right now for the banner picture. They wanted a video going. What we recommend with anybody putting a video on is they put it on their YouTube channel and then we integrate it into the website.
Okay.
The big reason is if you get too many videos on there or too large of videos, it slows down your speed for how fast your website will load. And that's a big ding by Google. But if it's sitting on YouTube's servers and just pulling in from there, the load speed isn't going to be impacted the way it is if you're just having the video sitting on there.
And is that an add-in?
It's a code. No, we don't charge extra for that.
Okay.
No, not at all.
And lastly, let's talk about what your prices do not include.
It basically boils down to the e-commerce, any kind of configuring of something that needs to be put in, extended contact forms sometimes, like if they want somebody to have a fillable form on there for doctors and things like that, absolutely not. Or if they're collecting any kind of Social Security, birth dates, things like that, you need another service that will encrypt that for you. We can build out, let's say they do interior design and they want to know what services that somebody's interested in. And so they want to know, is it for the bathroom? Is it the bedroom? And there's got to be different options for them to do. Sometimes those fall into the custom formatting, and how many options or questions that they're asking would be dependent, again, on our pricing. And we would just quote that out. We're pretty inclusive from everything that we've come across. There's not a lot that we charge extra for, just trying to keep it affordable.
Gotcha. Do you have any future plans that you can share with us?
I have no idea where the chamber is going to take me because I just absolutely love this chamber that we have here and being an ambassador with it. A couple of us ambassadors have started a coastal mastermind. So we meet the third Tuesday of every month. Currently at the chamber, with the way we're growing, we may be needing to find another space. Our fourth one will be June 18th, I believe it is.
Okay, give me again. It's the third
Tuesday of every month.
Third Tuesday of every month. And currently it is at the Topsail Chamber in Surf City.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell me what you're doing there. I want to hear.
So it's a networking of sorts, but we don't focus on networking. What we have designed it to do is anybody that has an issue within their business, they need help with, that they don't know who to turn to. Most likely with the number of people that we have coming, somebody has been through it. One of our other facilitators, Andrew, has 4 or 5 businesses. And I have turned to him many times saying, hey, what would you do in this situation and things like that. So we have had a lot of conversations here recently about social media. And you just kind of see people's eyes light up when you know it's sunk in of what somebody else is telling them to try or do. So we have just a splash page up, coastalmasterminds.com, where somebody can submit a topic. Or we just show up at the meetings, we do a real quick introduction, and then if somebody submitted a topic, then that topic goes first. Otherwise, okay, what do we need to talk about? Who has issues? Things such as signs being put out in Surf City that aren't allowed. And we have all kinds of conversations, and people have really, I think, walked away with some knowledge. And my main focus was to help this community grow. In the little over a year that we've been here, I've seen businesses that have come and gone in just that short amount of time. And it just breaks my heart. But it's just getting them the knowledge that, hey, there is people here to help you. And that's where we're really trying. I'm posting in a bunch of different groups to just get the awareness out there that, hey, there's other business owners that are here to help. And it lets you get to know the business owners as well. And ultimately, we can solve problems for one another 2, we can shop with one another. And 3, we become salespeople for one another. And that saves on your budget for salespeople, because the more I'm all about knowing, liking, and trusting somebody before referring them out. And what better way to get to know somebody than in groups like this?
Yeah. I love it. It's a great concept. I love that you started this, right? This was your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a way to go and sit down with like-minded people and it's problem solving together. You're right. I didn't think about that. But if you sit down at the table with somebody who's, 10 people, chances are someone has already run into that problem and they found a way to solve it. And what a great way to share that information. I love that not just people are showing up with their problems, but people are showing up to help people solve their problems.
Yes.
I love that.
That's why we put the little splash page up for the website, so that if somebody was embarrassed and didn't, sometimes it's like, hey, I'm struggling with this with my business, but you don't want to talk about it because you're embarrassed. That topic comes in, nobody has to know who brought the topic up.
Oh, interesting.
And that way, if it's a financial problem or this or that, we're all there. And that's the thing that I love about this community is that those people that do come together in situations like this are there to help. They need help too, but they are absolutely willing to give you their time and their efforts in any way they can, or at least from the people I've gotten in my path so far.
Love this.
And that's what I love.
All right, give us the website again.
coastalmasterminds.com.
Okay. And finally, what is the one key takeaway that you want us to remember about Web Designs Your Way?
That we're here to help. We want every business to be able to afford and have an amazing website. I love servicing this area. We, again, can work with anybody within the United States is what we try to stay with. But everything is local. Any of the people that we refer out is local to the U.S. It's funny with most of our clients, or not most of them, but a majority of them in Arizona still, that time change. I really didn't think about that. Some calls are still coming in at 4:00 and it's 7:00 our time. So our phones are always on. If somebody has a problem, if their website's down, that's a major problem. And we get it taken care of. Time isn't a thing to us, unfortunately, sometimes.
And if you're working across the U.S., you do have that 3-hour time difference that you're going to have to accommodate.
And even weekends, a lot of places just close their doors at 5 on a Friday and will not respond to emails. We look at everything. We may not respond, or we may just respond, we'll look at this on Monday. But we have somebody's business in our hands in a lot of ways with websites. So we try to be as responsive as possible.
If it's something critical that comes up, you'll handle it. Okay. All right, so let's give out that contact information. Their website is webdesignsyourway.net. And the email is evelyn@webdesignsyourway.net. That's EVELYN. EVELYN at webdesignsyourway.net. The phone number is 910-830-3108. You can find and follow Web Designs Your Way on Facebook and Instagram, and I will have all of this information in the show notes with the links hot so you can just click and go. So thank you, listeners, for joining us today. I always appreciate you listening each week and for your support. And thank you again, Evelyn, for telling us all about Web Designs Your Way.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode of Topsail Insider, please show your support by clicking the follow or subscribe button on your favorite podcast listening platform. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please also go to topsailinsider.com and join our mailing list by clicking on the Make Me a Topsail Insider button. While you're there, you can click the Send Me a Voicemail button and let me know exactly what you're thinking. Your message just might be on an episode of Topsail Insider. You can email me at krista@topsailinsider.com or call or text me at 910-800-0111. Thank you for listening and supporting Topsail Insider and our local businesses and nonprofits. These are our neighbors and our friends, and together we build a mighty and a beautiful community I'm super proud to be a part of. I'll see you around Topsail.
Hey guys, it's Leah with Topsail Talk. I explore local businesses, services, people, and activities in Topsail and its surrounding areas, and I post videos about them. You can find and follow Topsail Talk on Facebook and Instagram. You'll never know where we're going to go, but if you try one of my stops, be sure to tell them Topsail Talk sent you.